So one of my favourite slasher movies of all time, and it's got flaws and all, I completely admit it. It's got a sequel to a sequel, which is kind of a soft reboot, but at the same time, is it really? Who knows? I'm going into this with an open mind, so spoiler-free review. Let's see if it's worth you watching. So from the very get-go, it's exactly the same sequence of events that happened in the original, but it's not predictable like the original, which is a big plus. It will have you guessing the whole way through. So we're off to a great start. And we've got a whole new cast as well, but we do have the OGs, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. coming back to give it that little bit of a rub. And I'd give it more plus points for the fan service. There's plenty of that, plenty of gore as well. You are not going to go without gore. Were there fun kills? Yeah, there were some. Less than the amount of gore, less than the fan service, but these are plus points again. And much like the original, it's very convoluted. I mean, that's good and bad, but I'm literally throwing stones in glass houses because as one of the ADHD members of the community, I go down all the back alleys in the world before I get to the point, so I'd feel a tiny bit hypocritical for sort of throwing shade at them for that. But with all the convolutions and everything, the big thing that it does well is it keeps you guessing. I got that from the original. That wasn't just the only thing about it. The whole aesthetic, the whole setting, the vibe of it was important. And this was a bit weird because it was going for a 90s vibe, but not with 90s people and how they speak. And actually some of the dialogue was weird in terms of that feel. It was like, I don't know people who speak like this. Is this meant to be like, I know they're like, it's a they're saying it's a Gen Z thing, but it's not, because guess what? I know lots of Gen Z people, and the people that I were with know other Gen Z people because we exist in the same universe. I know, right? We're not in a multiverse with different generations. And yeah, so that was a bit odd. And I'm going back to the positives because Danica and Ava's relationship, their dynamic, that was probably a highlight of the film. If you've got a good lead, right? And Ava, I didn't realise before, was the lead. That's a really big thing to get right, and they absolutely got that right. She was a really interesting character. As I said, their dynamic, it kept it good. But I do have to say, as good as those two were and what they were, the tone of this film was all over the shop, absolutely all over the shop. Like, that was a roller coaster in not a good way, like in a bumpy ride, like, what's going on here? Yeah, not the greatest. And oddly, the dialogue got worse as the film progressed. Like, at the start, it felt fine. Like, there were goofy parts, and you know, some of the jokes landed, especially I'd say they landed more in the first half, or as it progressed it got worse. Some of the jokes in this movie were just cringe, and it was like and some of even the good jokes, they weren't like fantastic. They weren't, you know, who's on first, what's on second, but you know, you can't expect Shakespeare like that. I mean, I'm absolutely getting these references right, but they just, some of them were cringe, some of them were. And the oddest thing about this was that you really have to watch the first one to get it. Like, they're bringing in a whole new cast, right? And usually that means they're trying to bring in a new audience whilst bringing in an old audience, give it that foundation of a box office. But they're like, let's bring in new people, let's restart the franchise. But this required you to watch the first one. It was trying to be a 90s movie in 2025. And it's like, okay, you can try and be a 90s retro movie. That kind of might fly, but the fact that you have to watch the others when you're trying to soft reboot it, that's not going to go well, because it's like, it's too much investment for a new generation, unless they're literally like, oh my god, I can't, slashers, I need slashers everywhere, every bloody where I go. And I'm not saying people don't want to watch slashers, but it's not that level of demand, so I found that really odd. And the ending, well, okay, that's going to split audiences in my opinion, and I don't quite know how to feel about it yet. I'm still a bit raw. I'm leaning towards not liking it, but I reserve the right to revise my opinion on that. But yeah, this is just, look, it keeps you guessing, this movie, right? And that's great. It keeps you going. It's a roller coaster ride, a bloody bumpy one at times, and inconsistent tones, okay dialogue. I'd say good dialogue. That's incorrect. It had okay dialogue, then it had crappy dialogue, and yeah, but it had enough to keep it interesting. The reveal in this film, the reveals, they were good. So there were lots of good aspects to it. So in conclusion, if you are a fan of the original, yeah, it's worth going. Don't expect a masterpiece. Don't expect to go see something that was as good as the original or close to. It isn't, but it will entertain you. So it's worth it in that sense. Although you could take the view, I could just stay at home and save, you know, however much money just renting it or watching the original, because if you're that big of a fan, you've probably just got the original. And if you're into slashers, then yeah, go watch the original, then go watch this. Sure, you'll have a good time. If it's not really something that you're mad keen on, it's not worth it. But It depends what camp you sit in. I'd be very interested to know what you thought about this, because it's an interesting mishmash cluster of good and bad. So did you enjoy it? Perhaps you thought it wasn't that great. I'd love to know. Please comment below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ring the bell. Your support is appreciated. And until next time, I will see you later.